Hi, I'm not the image and voice of Thomas Harding. I want to tell you his story. I was born in Little Rock, Arkansas on the 18th of September, in the year 1843. I was born a slave in the state of Arkansas, but when I turned 4 years old, my master died, and then, my mom and dad, and I, were taken to Tennessee. And we stayed there until the end of the war when we fought for our freedom, and to save the Union. My dad, his name is Harrison, he was born in 1819, and he's a minister of God's Word. After our slave master died in Arkansas, and we were moved to Tennessee, we were split up. I believe my mom and dad were owned by William Harding, and the man that owned me was named Thomas Harding. They all came to Tennessee from Virginia back in 1777, and they had plantations in Tennessee and in Arkansas. When the war broke out and President Lincoln issued the emancipation that freed the slaves in the South, as soon as I heard the Yankees coming from the North, I ran for my freedom, and so did my mom and dad. Sometime later, the Yanks started recruiting slaves for the army in the North for Lincoln. They wanted us to fight so our freedom would be guaranteed. So my dad left the contraband camp we stayed in, and went up to see Colonel Thomas Jefferson Morgan. He was in charge of training Negro troops at the time. My dad joined and was part of the 12th Regiment of the United States Colored Troops, Company K. My dad Harrison joined on the 12th of August, in 1863. Then on November 1st of that same year, I turned 21 years old, and I followed my dad into the Army. I was in the 14th Regiment of the United States Colored Troops, Company C. It was about a little over a year before we were called to fight. On December the 15th, 1864, Colonel Thomas Jefferson Morgan put us in the fight. We came up against one of the rebels' most fierce general. He went by the name of Hood, John Bell Hood. The 12th Regiment where my dad was, and my regiment the 14th, along with some other colored regiments, sent them rebels a-running out of Tennessee. We chased them all the way to Georgia. We lost a lot of Yankee soldiers, and a lot of colored troops, but we got them rebels out of Tennessee. After we beat that Confederate army, and we got our guaranteed freedom, I went back to the plantation I worked for during slavery times, and my mom, and my dad, did the same. But after the Yankees pulled out of Tennessee in 1878, the rebels started killing black folks. They was trying to stop us from voting for Ulysses S. Grant for the presidency. The Ku Kluxers covered themselves in sheets, so nobody would know who was doing the killing. At that time, my dad was a minister at a colored Baptist church down in Nashville, and he was talking to a man who was once enslaved in Tennessee, until he ran for his freedom. That happened long before the war started. His name was Benjamin Singleton, but most people called him Pap. In 1879, me, my mom, and my dad, along with my wife Nancy, and our 4 children, Phyllis, Nancy, Harrison, and Emily, we all followed Pap to Topeka, Kansas. They say there was about 30 to 50,000 of us who left Tennessee to go to Topeka in the spring of 1878. We all took the ferry boat, and arrived in Topeka in late fall of 1878. We lived at 219 Monroe Street for a while before getting some land in Council Grove. When we moved there, we had another child, a girl, and we named her Rosetta Tennessee. We named her that, seeing how she was the first of our children that was born outside of our home state of Tennessee, before the rebels armed up and ran us out. In 1915, we moved to Garfield, and my dad had moved to Rock Creek. He died there in 1901, and Mom died 4 years earlier, but my dad had remarried. His new bride was named Millie Good. Harrison and Millie had a son, my half-brother, and his name was Harry Phoenix, but his mom Mill, she died the same year Harry was born. My dad, Reverend Harrison H. Harding, is buried in the Ragland Cemetery in Dunlap with my mom Phyllis, and Rosetta Tennessee. She married a man named John Ragland. They all buried in the Dunlap Cemetery. After the birth of Rosetta, my wife Nancy and I had 5 more children, James, Daniel, Cora, Thomas Jr., and Peggy. We were blessed with 10 children in all. I died on the 13th of February, in the year 1918. My marker is also located in the Dunlap Cemetery in Kansas. Family, I want you to know something, and I don't want you to ever forget what I am about to tell you. I fought for freedom. I fought for my wife and my children. Don't let anybody say otherwise. I fought so all of you can live free. And if asked to do it again, I would do it. Because I want my family to live free of bondage. I hope you enjoyed the story of Thomas Harding. Although I am not Thomas, I am proud of the fact that he fought for each and every one of you, whether you are a Ragland, Harding, Kibble, Quick, Ganson, Capleton, Gupton, Pierce, Smith, Moore, Cannon, Foreman, Powell, Jones, Ganson, Turner, Burson or Givens. You all should all be proud of him. If you are not a member of the Black Ancestry Network group, you can become a member simply by asking. You can find Bang on YouTube, Facebook and at myheritage.com, and also at ancestry.com. Or you can email the Black Ancestry Network group at gmail.com. You might want to keep in touch, because Bang has many more videos like this one, ready for you, so that you can learn your family history according to the records, and not according to history books. Thank you for watching. Bang.